Imagine, right, you're dropping, I don't know, $3,000 on this incredible custom-tailored tuxedo.
Oh, at least.
Right. You spend literally weeks dialing in the fit. You get your hair cut, perfectly faded. You spend an hour getting your leather Oxfords to this, like, flawless, mirror-like polish.
Yeah, you're doing the absolute most.
Exactly. So you step up to the altar, the photographer zooms in for the single most important close-up of the entire day, right? The ring exchange,
The money shot.
the money shot. And right there, captured in high definition forever, is this jagged, bleeding hangnail.
Oh, man, it physically hurts to even think about.
It's the worst. Welcome to the deep dive, everybody. Today, we are acting as your personal research team, and we're looking at a comprehensive document simply titled Groom Nail Care.
Yeah, it's such a specific but crucial topic.
It really is. Our mission today is to basically decode exactly why men's nail care has quietly become like the ultimate sleeper hit of modern wedding prep.
The absolute MVP of grooming right now.
Totally. We are going to explore the biology of your hands, the psychology of nonverbal communication, and how subtle buffing and cuticle maintenance are absolutely essential for achieving this polished, confident look.
And the overarching theme of our source material today is striking a very specific balance, you know?
Right.
It is about learning to elevate your physical presentation without looking like you just spent 3 hours sitting in a salon chair.
Yes, exactly. And I want to speak directly to you listening right now, whether you are a groom-to-be counting down the days, or maybe you're prepping for a massive presentation at work, or you're just looking to upgrade your baseline self-care game.
Which everyone should be doing, by the way.
Seriously. Mastering these highly specific grooming techniques is a fast track to signaling sophistication.
Because, I mean, think about it. Hands are highly communicative. We use them to talk, to greet people, to express emotion.
Yeah, they're always out there.
They are. They're a primary focal point in almost any social interaction, yet they're usually the very last thing men think about when they're getting dressed up.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because we really need to establish the why before we get into the how. We need to move past the obvious focus on the suits and the haircuts.
Right, the typical stuff.
Yeah. Think about it using this analogy. Spending months tailoring a custom suit, but completely ignoring your hands, is exactly like spending thousands of dollars detailing a vintage, classic car.
Oh, I love this analogy.
Making the exterior gleam and the chrome sparkle, but then you leave the steering wheel absolutely covered in mud.
It's such a visceral image, but the car analogy works perfectly because it highlights the concept of the focal point.
Exactly.
At a wedding or, during any major social event, your hands are constantly taking center stage.
Yeah.
The source material outlines several of these high-visibility moments.
Oh, totally. Like what?
Well, you have the obvious ones, right? Like the ring exchange photos and the intimate couple portraits.
Sure, the ones everyone thinks about.
But there are also the handshake greetings with dozens of guests. You're holding a glass during champagne toasts. And then there's the endless stream of social media close-ups.
I can actually relate to this on a deeply visceral level.
Oh, really? Do tell.
Yeah, so I remember being at this massive networking event early in my career. I was wearing a great suit, feeling incredibly confident.
Feeling like $1,000,000.
Exactly. So I went to shake hands with the keynote speaker, and as I reach out, I realized my cuticles were completely cracked, and I had this massive, angry red hangnail.
Oh, no. The timing.
The worst timing.
Huh.
In that split second, all my confidence just vanished. I was actively trying to, physically hide my hand while shaking his.
The awkward half-grip handshake.
Yes. Unkempt nails just violently distract from whatever message you were trying to project.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, modern grooming is fundamentally about communicating confidence and hygiene.
It's all signaling.
Exactly. Evolutionary psychology tells us that humans are literally hardwired to notice hygiene markers. And hands are a massive indicator of health and self-care.
Makes total sense.
Right. When someone shakes your hand or watches you raise a glass, the state of your hands sends a subconscious immediate message about your attention to detail.
So if the tuxedo says, I respect the gravity of this event, but the hands say I couldn't be bothered to scrub under my nails, the overall message gets heavily muddied.
You are sending completely conflicting signals.
Which is why the standard for grooms has evolved so dramatically, right?
Oh, absolutely. The source material highlights specific professional men's manicure trends for 2026, and the aesthetic has decisively moved away from anything that looks artificial.
Yeah, the document is very specific about this 2026 aesthetic. It's not about looking painted.
Not at all.
The focus is entirely on matte natural nails, healthy buffed finishes, deeply hydrated cuticles, incredibly clean edges, and spa-style hand treatments.
It's a whole vibe.
It really is. To capture the exact vibe they're going for, the text actually includes a suggested social media caption.
Oh, I remember this part.
Yeah, it reads, clean nails, sharp details,
Hmm.
confident groom energy.
Confident groom energy. What's fascinating here is the intense emphasis on what the source calls subtle luxury.
Subtle luxury, I like that.
Right. Because in previous decades, men's nail care either just straight up didn't exist, or it involved these aggressive, glossy, clear coats that looked very obvious.
Yeah, like you dip your fingers in glass.
Exactly. Modern trends strictly avoid shiny nail polish or dramatic high gloss treatments. The ultimate goal is a refined, natural presentation that complements formal fashion while maintaining a distinctly masculine aesthetic.
So it's essentially the no makeup look, but translated for a man's hands.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
The end result should simply look like you genetically possess incredibly strong, healthy nails.
Like you just woke up like that.
Right. The hands should look robust and clean, completely free of distractions like ridges, dryness, or jagged edges.
Because the absence of distraction is the ultimate definition of subtle luxury.
Oh, that's a great point.
You want people noticing the wedding ring or the tailored cuff of the shirt, right? Not the fraying skin around your thumb.
I'll admit, though, my first instinct when hearing a phrase like matte natural finish is to ask how a guy is supposed to physically achieve that.
Sounds intimidating.
It does. Because if you just hand the average guy a metal file and tell him to go to town, he's probably going to cause some serious structural damage.
Oh, inevitably.
So how do we achieve this look without ruining the nail in the process?
Well, the source goes deep into the core mechanics, focusing heavily on the buffing process, which is where the vast majority of men go wrong.
Because they just grind away.
Exactly. They completely misunderstand what buffing actually does to the nail plate.
So the text lays out a very specific sequence. First, you trim and shape with quality clippers to keep a nail short and even.
Make sure they're even, yeah.
Right. And it notes you should file gently in one direction to avoid splitting the keratin layers of the nail.
Super important. No sawing back and forth.
No sawing. Second, you use a fine multi-grit buffer designed specifically for natural nails. Third, you buff lightly to remove ridges and dullness. Fourth, clean off the dust. And finally, moisturize. But I have to push back on this third step a little bit.
Okay, what's the concern?
Buffing sounds an awful lot like taking a piece of sandpaper to a hardwood floor.
That's a very fair comparison.
Right. Like if a guy gets a little too enthusiastic with that buffer block,
Yeah.
isn't he just sanding away his actual nail?
The source text anticipates that exact concern. It provides a very stern warning against a practice it labels overbuffing.
Over-buffing.
Yeah. Your instinct about the sandpaper is entirely accurate. A multi-grit buffer is literally a block with varying degrees of abrasive friction.
So you really can just sand right through the protective layers of your fingers.
You absolutely can, and you can significantly weaken them.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the human nail is made of densely packed layers of a protein called keratin. When you buff, you are physically stripping away the topmost layers.
So more isn't better.
Not at all. Too much friction thins the nail plate. It makes it fragile, overly sensitive, and prone to bending or tearing.
And it probably looks weird, too.
Aesthetically, it's a disaster. Overbuffing creates this unnatural, wet-looking shine that completely violates that subtle luxury aesthetic we just talked about.
So it sounds like the goal is a light polish, not a heavy excavation project.
That's exactly it.
You aren't trying to grind the nail completely flat to remove every single microscopic ridge. You are just taking off the very top layer of, like, environmental dullness.
Gentle, sweeping motions are all it takes. Minor surface ridges are totally natural. You just want to smooth them out enough to allow the healthy sheen of the keratin to show through.
That distinction makes perfect sense. Now, if